was supposed to go live at 4-ish. It is not 4-ish. It's like 4:41. I apologize for the delay, but we're here. We're here, and let's get to it today. Short pod today, very short pod today. I'm home for spring break. Let me do the introductions after I get the intro down. Y'all see the title today, Some Casual Takes number 23. Welcome everyone to the 23rd episode of Some Casual Takes, a podcast hosted by me, Stephen Pepper. This episode is brought to you by no one, and the other part of the intro is that we feature other sports fans debating interesting topics. Well, no one else is here today. I was supposed to have some people here today, but they couldn't make it. Some people are coming, like they're traveling because it's around spring break time. And the other people just, no-showed. It's all good. I got a couple. It was supposed to be a long show anyways, so I can hold down the fort. All me today. It's back-to-back shows, solo, so just more practice of me talking. So, solo pod, back in the crib in my house, because it's spring break. And sorry for the no-show on Friday. There wasn't really any. I was busy. I was transitioning from coming home. That's when my spring break kind of started on Friday, and a lot of people were still on vacation for spring break. And I just, that week was rough. It was midterm week. I didn't really have enough time to really watch basketball or set my stuff up. So I was like, no show Friday. We're gonna come back home on Monday. There will be a show Friday. I go on vacation from Tuesday to Thursday, but we should be good for Friday. So not that many topics to talk about today, because since it's going to be a solo pod, I got to cut this show a little bit short because I had some discussion questions, but since they're not here, we're not going to talk about them. But I hope everyone's March Madness brackets are doing good. I'm going to go check. I'm going to go through mine real quick to make sure I'm up to date. There's no games today. They're taking a couple of days off before we get into the Sweet 16. But what a weekend it was for college basketball, man. The round of 64 and the round of 32. It was a great week to watch basketball. I'm going to check into mine bracket. I know I made a video where I claimed Duke to be a Final Four lock and the team to pick. Hopefully no one followed my advice for Duke because, man, how embarrassing that would have been. So I had them in my Final Four. They lose second round to Tennessee. But, I just didn't believe in Tennessee like that. I really didn't believe in Tennessee. They looked very shaky in the SEC tournament. I didn't believe in them. I was like, okay, Duke won their tournament. Duke's on fire. They're riding that 10-game winning streak. Filkowski was good in the ACC tournament. I like their guards. They didn't show up. Bama's still alive. So my Final Four, if I can scroll. Okay, so my Final Four was Alabama, Duke on the left side of the bracket. And on the right side of the bracket, I had Texas and UCLA. Texas and UCLA are still alive. Duke's not, but Bama is. So, before the Sweet 16, I still got 3 out of my 4 Final Fours. I expect to lose one in the Sweet 16. But, hey, I didn't pick Arizona. I didn't pick Purdue. I didn't pick those teams to go to the Final Four. So we're good. I didn't pick Baylor like some people did. I didn't pick Kansas. I had all those teams that lost in the round of 32 or 64. I had them losing in the round of 32 or the 64. I had Purdue losing early, so I'm glad. I also had Baylor losing early. I had Kansas losing early. Those are some teams that a lot of people picked. Houston looked pretty good in that second half against Auburn. I had them losing. I have Houston losing to Texas in like the Elite Eight. But let's talk basketball. Let's talk NBA. So last night, Magic Lakers. The Lakers have this home stretch now. At the end of the season, I believe they have like 12 games left. And the Los Angeles Lakers played the Orlando Magic last night in a close one. I watched this game and its almost entirety. I tuned in more in the second half because I just thought, this was going to be a game for the Lakers to win at home and just go on to the next one because they got Phoenix on Wednesday at home as well. So I was like, okay, they're going to take care of business because this is a really good Lakers team. Orlando is nothing. But then because I came back from the gym, then I'm like checking on my phone. I'm like, yo, what's this? Lakers? Like, it's close. And then I watch the game and I see, wow, this game's, I think in the fourth quarter it was at 2 points at one point. unacceptable for the Lakers going into the playoffs. And I got two big takeaways from that game, starting with Anthony Davis. I've said in the last couple of, honestly, shows, I keep repeating myself. I try not to, but I have to. I hope this message gets out to Anthony Davis. I say it every day off camera too, but the man Anthony Davis, he's in charge of punching the Lakers tickets. He's responsible for punching the Lakers playoff ticket. He needs to be more consistent. Honestly, I'm worried about, see this comment, quit dodging. Dodging what, Kings? I ain't talking about the Kings, buddy. No, I ain't talking about the Kings. Quit dodging. Okay, so back to Anthony Davis. I keep saying these last couple of weeks, Anthony Davis is responsible for punching the Lakers tickets. Anthony Davis is responsible for punching the Lakers playoff tickets. He needs a guaranteed win for the Lakers if Anthony Davis just gets 30 and 15. The problem with Anthony Davis is he's too wildly inconsistent. And I'm over here just kind of, looking at LeBron's injury report, like, yo, what's the update? What's the update? I thought we was fine. We were on this little win streak, got LeBron. I think we won 4 out of 5 games. At one point, Anthony Davis was going on a tear. So I was like, all right, no, LeBron can just come back to the last game of the regular season. But now I'm checking my phone, like, yo, Woj, what's the update? Like, are we checking on LeBron now? I get the notification the other day that LeBron might come back next week. They're just going to get evaluated this week. So LeBron could come back soon after another report I saw earlier in the week that it wasn't looking good. But now apparently LeBron could come back in a week. So that's good because Anthony Davis is acting like he needs LeBron back. And this all happens right after I say Anthony Davis is better than LeBron, after I say Anthony Davis is a top 10 player, and now he goes on these stretches. Anthony Davis has to be hands down the most inconsistent superstar I've ever seen. Anthony Davis will go on these stretches where he's averaging 35 and 15 and 3 blocks, and the Lakers win 5 games. But then for the next 5 games, Anthony Davis cracks 30 once, and then he'll have games where, let me pull up the exact stats. He went on a stretch where he'll go on these stretches. Anthony Davis, I got the stats now. Anthony Davis will go on these stretches where he's averaging 30 points a game, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, and the Lakers are winning. They're going on win streaks, and they're approaching 500. But then as soon as the Lakers approach 500, as soon as the Lakers approach 500, here comes Anthony Davis with these 12-point performances, 13-point performances, 19-point performances, and he only cracks 28 to 30 points once in that stretch, and the Lakers take steps back. But then here comes Anthony Davis saying, okay, now we're 3 games behind 500. I'm going to go on this tear last week when he's averaging 35 points a game, and we win 4 out of the 5 games. And then we're 1 game back from 500. And then the Lakers get 1 game back behind 500. And then Anthony Davis becomes inconsistent Davis. He doesn't want to contribute on the offensive end. He's just not locked in offensively. He gives you the defense, but he's either missing shots or not putting up shots. He's getting no post touches for a player who I don't think anyone in the NBA will guard in the post. And then he just lollygags on the perimeter. And then here comes Anthony Davis with 8 points. There is no way that Anthony Davis, a player in Anthony Davis's skill set with this season on the line, should drop 8 points in an NBA game. Anthony Davis should drop 8 points in a quarter, not in a game, a quarter. Then he gives you a 17-point performance. And then he'll sprinkle in a 30-point, kind of a we back performance, clickbait performance from Anthony Davis. We get a win, but then we take more steps back when Anthony Davis gives us 15 against Orlando. Got lucky that Austin Reeves popped off, but if Austin Reeves wasn't popping off, Lakers would have lost at home to Orlando and would have been 4 games behind 500. Anthony Davis is responsible for punching the Lakers playoff tickets. It's all up to him. It's an auto win. The Lakers are good enough it's an auto win for the Lakers if Anthony Davis just gets some 30 and 15. Maybe not even 30, 28 and 15, 2 blocks. That's an auto win. Some of these games, Anthony Davis gets 20 to 25 points. If he would have just got 28, the Lakers would have won, and they would not have been in this spot. If Anthony Davis was more consistent, the Lakers would be above 500, and they would have to worry about nothing. But Anthony Davis has to be the most inconsistent superstar ever because in a week stretch, Anthony Davis would average 35 points. He will look like a top 5 player in basketball. He's getting the Lakers an inch away from 500. In the following week, Anthony Davis barely scores 30 once. And in the rest of those games, he's giving you 8 points, 17 points, 19 points, 15 points, 13 points. And he's not engaged offensively. He's not touching the ball in the post, not bodying smaller defenders. There is no reason why Anthony Davis didn't post up Maxi Kleber against the Dallas Mavericks. There's no reason in that fourth quarter he didn't get a post touch. But now Anthony Davis, and then this week, I expect Anthony Davis. See, he had 15 point, 17 point, 8 point week. Now, what's going to happen this week? I mean, yeah, this week because the new week started. Anthony Davis, here we go, 30 points, 35 points. This is the week now I should expect Anthony Davis to have 30. 2 games behind 500, 10th seed. I'm praying that Anthony Davis goes on a stretch where he just dominates because they need him. Because shout out to Austin Reeves. We're going to get into in a minute, but you cannot rely on Austin Reeves to bail you out for 35. There's no reason to work because on ESPN, there's no reason why I go on ESPN and see the face of the Lakers as Austin Reeves. There's no reason why I should go on the ESPN box score and see the face of the Lakers as Austin Reeves when we're 3 games below 500. And I love Austin Reeves. But Anthony Davis, if we're relying on Austin Reeves and not Anthony Davis, a top 75 player in his prime, the Lakers are in trouble. The Lakers are in trouble. But Austin Reeves, though, I want to shine some light on Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is a good player, man. He is now due. He's due for a contract this offseason. His agent was whispering in his ear like, "Hey, you're an undrafted free agent. Lakers getting minutes here and there. Turn up, bro, because this contract year. Austin Reeves must know it's a contract year for him because right on time, this last couple months of the season, when you start thinking about who you're going to sign for the offseason, here comes Austin Reeves with these performances. So shout out to Austin Reeves, man. Last night, off the bench, 30 minutes, 9 for 14, 35 points for the AK-47. And what's more, LeBron out here tweeting. Let me pull up this LeBron tweet. LeBron's out here tweeting him. He said, right after the game, by the way, so LeBron in his street clothes had like his phone in the locker room, said, AR, you bad mother. LeBron, clean image, so he ain't going to tweet no curse word. Mother blank. Shut your mouth. You too tough. Austin Reeves is slowly becoming one of my favorite players, kind of like Alex Caruso. We're going to get in the Caruso-Reeves debate in a minute, but he's like Alex Caruso. He's becoming one of my favorite players, man. LeBron's always got one of those cold white boys on his team, the Mike Millers of the world, those cold white boys on his team that you just love, that gives you just quality playing time. And we got Austin Reeves. I loved him last year. Remember the buzzer beater he had against what I think it was the Dallas Mavericks last season? Or was it this season? I might be tripping. It was either last season or this season. He had a buzzer beater against Dallas or one of those teams. I'm pretty sure it was last season, but whatever. Yeah, I think it was last season because that was his rookie season. I think it was over. Whatever. Who cares? But yeah, but that doesn't matter when it was. He was still on the team. I think it was last season when he was a rookie. But Austin Reeves is cold, bro. And he's pivotal to his Lakers team. And I really like him. And what's interesting, because he shot 18 free throws last night. This man is getting really good at getting in the free throw line. 18 free throws, 16 for 18. He was very efficient from the floor with his jump shooting and his crafty layups. Seen a lot more crafty layups from Austin Reeves, very athletic player. But what he's getting really good at is shooting, it's drawing fouls. And he did it last night too. Some fouls at superstars. So there's this move now that a lot of superstars are doing. Not Austin Reeves players, superstars are doing. When they get the ball, I've done this at a rec center before. Like you get the ball and you're just like, you have it and you kind of just like bump into the defender on your back or your hip and you like draw some contact and you get a little animated and you throw the ball up, refs try to call it. Steph Curry's been doing that, I feel like, for a little bit. And I haven't really seen Steph Curry get the volume of calls as Austin Reeves. And Austin Reeves out here, man, 18 free throws last night, putting his body on the line for the Lakers. That's a sense of urgency I want from a player in the purple and gold. Anthony Davis. I think someone credited him in the post-interview saying that Austin Reeves had great intensity, blah, blah, blah. We should be saying that about Anthony Davis. I don't want Austin Reeves being like, yeah, he's a good spark plug, but come on, man, Anthony Davis, you're supposed to have that energy too, bro. So here's this tweet from Lowe. Shout out to Legend of Winning. Oh, he's been on a couple of my lives before. I got a lot of respect for Lowe. He put out this tweet giving us some data, say most free throw attempts in the month of March. You got Jimmy Butler, obviously Embiid, Giannis at the top. Who is number 6 out of these 10 people? Austin Reeves has more free throw attempts than Anthony Davis for the month of March. Austin Reeves has more free throw attempts than Anthony Davis. The man knows how to get to the line. But again, Austin Reeves, more free throw attempts, more contact than Anthony Davis. Austin Reeves, energy, intensity, getting fired up, something that I love from a bench player, and he should always keep. But Anthony Davis needs that as well, and he's not showing it. But shout out to Austin Reeves for saving the Lakers, because imagine if Austin Reeves didn't have this performance. Where would the Lakers be today? They'll be the 11th seed, 4 games behind 500, season pretty much over. They lose to Orlando. That would be back-to-back losses, right? The first loss was to Dallas, and it was at home as well. A gut punch in a game you're up 4 with 8 seconds left. You choke that game away. That's already a punch to your gut. The knockout punch would have been a home loss to Orlando. 4 games back, game over. Game over. But they saved it thanks to Austin Reeves. So a question now I've been seeing, I was hearing some people talk about on TikTok Live before I went to bed, people recapping the Lakers game, and they were saying, I've been hearing it throughout the season too, but now with this performance, it's going to become a real debate because he also is a fan favorite. Is Austin Reeves better than Alex Caruso? And I think so, yeah. I think Austin Reeves is better than Alex Caruso. And I love Alex Caruso. His hustle play during the bubble, his defense, his hands, his active hands during the bubble helped win a championship. But Austin Reeves is better than Alex Caruso. He just is. Yes, Alex Caruso is a better defender than Austin Reeves. But I don't think his defensive gap is that huge. This man, Austin Reeves, is not that bad of a defender. I saw a stat a little bit while back in terms of the best on the ball defenders, percentile defenders. Austin Reeves has some really good on ball defender stats. He's not a bad defender as you may think. He's a pretty good defender, but the gap offensively is bigger than the gap defensively in favor of Austin Reeves. Alex Caruso is not putting up a 35-point performance. Has Alex Caruso even broke 20 points in his career? Alex Caruso is not dropping 35 points for the Lakers, saving Anthony Davis' career, saving the Lakers' legacy. He's not doing that. He's not. Alex Caruso is not going out here dropping 35 points against Orlando. He's not hitting these crafty reverse layups. He's not shooting these difficult shots like an Austin Reeves. He can't get his shot like Austin Reeves. Alex Caruso was a fine player offensively. He could knock down a shot or two here and there for the Lakers, but he can't get his own shot like Austin Reeves. He's not as a talented shot creator as Austin Reeves, and the gap defensively isn't as big. So when you bring this to somebody who says, Alex Caruso, but his defense, Alex Caruso, his defense, I think he led the league in steals, 2 years ago, something like that. Oh, his defense. Austin Reeves is not that bad a defender too, but the gap offensively is huge. It's bigger in favor of Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves scored the final 10 points for the Los Angeles Lakers, by the way. In a game that was a 6-point game, Austin Reeves scored the last 10. Shout out to Austin Reeves. Clutch jumper in the final minute. That and one off the hip. Throw it up there, Austin Reeves. 35 points off the bench. Last 10 points, bro. Spectacular. Well, that's enough Lakers. I feel like I talk the Lakers every day. I have to, but maybe some people are getting tired of Lakers, so let's switch. Can't even show it, but just more Austin Reeves appreciation. I love this image. This is not – can you see that? Can you see that? Whatever. I just like that photo. He looks so intense. Never seen anything Davis look like that, by the way. No, I have. I was trolling. Okay. So the NBA MVP. NBA Instagram.com finally dropped their updated MVP a day ago. And Embiid is now at the top of their list. And you see the title of the show. Embiid finally jumps Nikola Jokic. Justice for Joel Embiid. we're on the right track. It only took 4 months. I'm not a Jokic hater. I'm one of those guys who said even at the beginning of the season before this triple-double stuff that Jokic was a top 5 player in basketball. I was on his side. So I'm not a Jokic hater because I know a lot of people are necessarily piling on the Jokic hate. Oh, snap. I'm sorry. I can't bump my camera like that. But I'm not on the Jokic hate bandwagon. I still love Jokic. I still think he's a top 5 player in basketball. But Joel Embiid, to me now, I went through Luka Doncic at the beginning of the year. I was on Nikola Jokic for a couple of months. But now I've changed my mind. I've been impressed by what I've seen from that man, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is now the league MVP. He is. Sorry, Nikola Jokic fans. And I'm not even a Nikola, like I said, I'm not a Nikola Jokic hater. This is not Nikola Jokic hate. I've always loved Jokic. I think he's a top 5 player in basketball. But Joel Embiid is the rightful MVP. Joel Embiid's stats this year, a league leading. They sweep this under the rug, by the way. I don't know how many of you guys know this. Joel Embiid is leading the league in scoring 34 points a game, along with 10 rebounds on 55% shooting, with great 3-point and free throw percentage numbers as a big man. Pretty great numbers as a big man. It's crazy. I had to look it up. I was like, oh, where's Joel? I knew he was scoring at great numbers. Where was he ranked throughout the season as far as points per game leaders? He's number 1. Shout out to Embiid, man, the league leader in scores. So again, I didn't know this, but I didn't know how many people knew it. I didn't. I don't know how many people know this, but Joel Embiid is the league leader in scoring. I don't know if someone's sweeping this under the rug or not, but Joel Embiid is the Joel Embiid's the league leader in scoring. 34 points a game, 10 rebounds on 55% shooting, with great 3-point and free throw percentage as well as a big man. And I don't care about Jokic this, Jokic that, because the huge thing that Jokic supporters were holding on to was that he was the number 1 seed in the West, while the 76ers were the 3rd and 4th seed. You got to give the man the MVP boost because he's also the number 1 seed in the West. But now the 76ers are the 2nd team in the East, which is the better conference right now. And when you look at the records, the 76ers actually have a higher win percentage than the Nuggets. So now the record favors Joel Embiid. Now the record favors Joel Embiid. Oh, snap. Yo, what up, Lucky? I'll pull you up after in a bit after I say this. Now the record favors Joel Embiid. Denver is slipping right now, too. Joel Embiid is on a winning streak. He's jumping Boston while Denver is slipping. And a huge reason why they're slipping is because Nikola Jokic doesn't play defense. Unlike Embiid, Nikola Jokic is not a good defender at all. And I think we also have to reward players who play defense. You need to finish the season strong to leave a good impression on voters. And Jokic's defense is hurting the Nuggets and making them lose games to some really bad teams. San Antonio, Bulls, Raptors. They're losing to non-playoff teams. Meanwhile, Embiid is playing elite defense, one of the most efficient players in basketball, 2 blocks a game, while Jokic is getting cooked. Joel Embiid is the MVP. Yo, what up, Lucky? I can't hear you, bro.
Oh, hold up.
Yo, so yeah, we're talking about the MVP right now, man. Who got the MVP right now? I know you heard a little bit of my monologue. I don't know when you pulled up. You probably just got here.
Yeah, I just got here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I'm going to have to give it to Embiid because I feel like how I look at it, I value on how you play on both ends of the court, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's hard for me to give me personally, I think Embiid should have won it last year.
I think so too.
And I think Jokic should win it this year, but they kind of messed it up, I think. But I do think it should go to Embiid this year, but I don't know if it will.
I think I said like one of the last points of my little point, the argument was recency bias is going to hurt Jokic because since the Nuggets are falling towards the end of the season and the 76ers are rising, you remember more of what happened in the last month than what happened 4 months ago. So the impression that's left on you more recently when they're going to go vote for the MVP soon, I think they moved back the MVP voting to the summer, right? I think they do the summer now instead of they do the summer now instead of when do they do it? Like after the season?
I'm not exactly sure what month they do it, but
I think it's after the season now, the NBA awards, because they used to do it like the first round of the playoffs a couple years ago, but I think they changed it now to like June with the NBA awards. They have this whole ceremony now. But it doesn't matter. So like I was saying, when they go vote, they're going to remember what happened in the last month rather than what happened 4 months ago. And in the last month, Nikola Jokic is getting cooked on defense. The Nuggets are losing to the Spurs, Bulls, Raptors. They're losing to some bad teams. I mean, Knicks aren't bad, but they got a Knicks loss. So, and while Nikola Jokic is getting cooked, teams are shooting high field goal percentages. Players are shooting high field goal percentages on Nikola Jokic. And when they go vote, it's not going to look good. While here comes Joel Embiid, league's leader in scoring, has to matter. 34 points a game. I think was that the first? I think I heard some first time someone scored 30 plus as a big man since Shaquille O'Neal. So it's been like 20 years in the regular season since that's happened. And it's giving you 10 rebounds and elite defense. And Jokic has the triple-double. But come on, man. Westbrook averaged a triple-double 4 times and only won the MVP once. Oscar averaged a triple-double, didn't win the MVP. So the triple-double thing, I think people might be a little tired of it too. Maybe some of that triple-double was Westbrook hate, but, I don't think the triple-double is going to move the needle as much. And, like Embiid's playing a great defense. Oh, also the record thing too. I had Jokic as my MVP last month because they were the number 1 team in the West, and they had, like, if not the best record, but the second best record in basketball. But now they don't. The 76ers actually have a higher win percentage than the Nuggets because of the slippage. So now Embiid's got the better record, clears on defense, leads the league in scoring. I think he's number 1 in PER this year, something like that. He's extremely efficient. Jokic has great efficiency, but so does Joel Embiid. I think Jokic's numbers is a bit better in terms of efficiency, but it's not huge for you to say like, oh, Embiid's inefficient. No, Embiid's extremely inefficient. So, I'd go with Embiid. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's Embiid because I value what he does on both sides of the floor more than what Jokic only does on one side of the floor. You know what I mean? So,
Yo, really quick though. I already moved past it. In the show. What quick reactions to the Lakers game for you, bro?
To what? Sorry.
The Lakers game.
Man,
I already moved past it, but I want to get, since you came in here, quick reaction.
The Lakers game. Well, see, the thing is so people think that Anthony Davis is struggling. It's a big problem, right? And because we were able to come out to win last night because Austin Reeves had a huge game. But the thing is you want your role players to step up sometimes. Wouldn't you rather have your role players step up and have a big game so your superstars don't have to?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. See, and that's what I was saying, but everyone's freaking out that Anthony Davis is always inconsistent, he's going to have problems in the playoffs, all that. I think people just need to relax. You know what I mean? I think they're jumping in narratives too quick. I mean, I think it was a great win. People act like the Magic are absolutely terrible, which they're definitely not good this year, but they're not.
I heard on the broadcast that they were like a top 5 defense in like February or something like that, so they could play some defense when they want to. I heard.
Yeah, exactly. So like they started out the season like 5-20, but since then, I'm pretty sure like in their last like 48 games they're above 500 or something like that. So yeah, I don't think it was a good win. It was a good game for Austin Reeves, and he's been really consistent lately. Over the last 10 games, he's averaging 18, 4, and 3. Good shooting.
He's gone in the offseason, bro.
I don't think he will be. I think the Lakers will bring him back.
Dude, the teams might throw some money at him, bro. Teams might throw. I heard now that today, like right after the game, hearing reports of like a $50 to $60 million contract on his door soon.
I think I personally
$20 million a year for Austin Reeves could come.
And I think he's a good upside. I don't think he has that star potential, but I think he'll be a very solid player for a long time.
Yeah, but to your point of like people shouldn't forget about Anthony Davis, I wouldn't freak out too because there's some games in history. You go back to any player in basketball where their role player might have a game here or there where he kind of takes over and wins a game. I understand that, but this isn't the first time for Anthony Davis where he kind of just lacks impact on the offensive end. I brought it up so many games in 2023 where Anthony Davis scores 13 points, 15 points, 12 points, 8 points. I didn't forget about that 8 point. So, you know what I'm saying? So 8 points, 13 points, 12 points, 17 points. There's no reason why this dude should be averaging less than 25 points.
I do agree with you, but at the end of the day, it's also nice if you can have someone like Anthony Davis just kind of focus purely on defense, not have to.
Oh, the defense is still there.
Yeah, definitely. He's still.
But my issue was since LeBron is gone, we need that superstar on offense because I like D'Lo, but are we going to rely on D'Lo to bring that superstar offense every game? No, and there's no one else on the team you can rely on to bring that superstar offense. This is for Anthony Davis to be 30 and 15. 28 and 15, if I'm going to be realistic, he needs to be game in and game out because I pointed out before you got here, Anthony Davis will go on a stretch where the Lakers are 4 games back behind 500. Here comes Anthony Davis. He's averaging 35 points a game in a week stretch. And then the Lakers get this close to 500. Then the Lakers take steps back. And then the next week, Anthony Davis is going you 8 points, 17 points, 12 points, 13 points. And the Lakers are 3 games back behind 500, ruin the progress they made in the previous week. Then the next week, here come the Lakers. Game back, Anthony Davis, 30 points, 32 points, like 28 points, 35 points, pushing 40. The Lakers are right there at 500. And then the next week, here comes Anthony Davis, 7 points, like 17, 12. It's just inconsistent what we get from Anthony Davis. And I've been saying on these last weeks on my shows that Anthony Davis is responsible for punching the Lakers playoff ticket. It's all up to Anthony Davis. I don't care about Austin Reeves. I don't care about Russell. I don't care about Vanderbilt. I don't care about any of those players. You can't depend on those players. The player who's responsible for punching the Lakers ticket is Anthony Davis. And he can do that by a guaranteed win with 28 and 15. I think when they lost to, who did they lose to? It was very close.
Recently?
I think it was Dallas. And they lost by 1 point. I think Anthony Davis had 25 or 26 points against Dallas, that game where they blew that lead. And I've been saying a guaranteed win from Anthony Davis is 28 points at least. And then against Dallas, they lost by 1 point. He had 25, 26. So if Anthony Davis would have had the 28 that are required of him, they would have actually won the game. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Well, the thing is with Anthony Davis is he's a lot better when LeBron's on the floor, obviously. But the main factor why is because he can go in the paint a lot more. Because with LeBron out, these teams are triple teaming like last night, the Magic were triple teaming Anthony Davis.
I saw it against the Mavericks too, yeah.
Yeah, and even against the Mavericks, they're triple teaming him when he gets in the paint because they know that's where he wants to go. So I think that's really what's hurting him lately is not having someone like LeBron out there, like another elite scorer to open up that paint a little bit more for him. So he's trying to be a jump shooter, which he's not really that great of a jump shooter. For a big man, is he? Maybe. But just in general, I think he's took a step back in his shooting.
Yeah.
So Anthony Davis is at his best when he's going in the paint. That's when he's at his best. So,
I do think they need LeBron back. Yeah, because I've said it on TikTok the other day or so, like, I don't trust D'Lo Westbrook honestly would have been better not as a scorer. I definitely don't like Westbrook I like Westbrook being gone, but as a facilitator, Anthony Davis and Westbrook actually works. I think Westbrook can get Anthony Davis to his spots. I don't think D'Lo or Dennis Schroeder can get Anthony Davis those post looks, those alley-oops that we need. Yeah. I think LeBron is very good at telling Anthony Davis, yo, get down there, bro. Get down there. I think LeBron's good at doing that. I think Westbrook was honestly good at that. But now that they're gone, Anthony Davis doesn't really want to get double teamed. I still think he should eat the double team because he can kick out to an open shooter. They're still when Anthony Davis was catching the ball at the high post at the elbow, they were still double teaming him then. I think it's just better to get double team the block. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. The double team.
Well, Well, the thing is, though, is with LeBron out and giving these role players a chance to have good games, like D'Lo's not a role player, he's a starter. But, you got D'Lo, Vanderbilt, Reeves. You're giving these guys opportunities to have good games. So once you throw LeBron back in the lineup, they're going to be warmed up. They're going to be good, even though that their shots will drop with LeBron on the floor because obviously LeBron will be taking more shots. I think it'll be good for the team because they're kind of all getting in a rhythm together.
Mm.
And I think including a guy like LeBron throwing him in there is not going to hurt you. It's only going to help you.
Yeah, the confidence would be there. I really like Austin Reeves gaining that confidence. You see that stat that in the month of March, Austin Reeves is taking the 6th most free throws, took 18
Yeah,
last night.
I saw.
It's insane, bro.
I think he went 17 for 18 too, right?
Yeah, 16 for 18 last night.
For 18, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Any chance you give the Lakers to avoid the play-in or nah?
I mean, I'm a Lakers fan, so I might be biased, but I don't, dude. I think that there's a shot where I think we make the playoffs without even having to go to the play-in.
The problem is, I thought the path was clear, but Anthony Davis not playing back-to-back against Houston was an auto loss. And then the Mavericks loss, I really thought just killed the Lakers' chances of – because the Lakers aren't going to go undefeated at the end of the season, so they're going to lose some games here or there. Anthony Davis is still not going to play back-to-backs until the last back-to-back of the season. So we're going to lose some games. 10th seed right now, so they're a game and a half out of 7.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when Luka Doncic comes back. Clippers have been winning some games recently. I was kind of hoping the Clippers would drop, but they've been winning games. Golden State's dropping. They're at 500, which is good. OKC's trying to win games. They're the 8th seed. I kind of don't like how OKC all of a sudden now wants to compete. Would have liked OKC being a tanking team.
Yeah.
We're glad no Zion's really freeing it up. Utah's losing games. Utah just needs to stop trying to compete. Seriously. Minnesota, they're trying to compete as well.
Yeah.
They're a game out of 7, a game and a half out of 6. It's still possible. But they have 10 games left. 1, 2,
Yep.
3. Yeah, 10 games left. Phoenix on Wednesday. I'm going to say
Wait, but you have KD and Ayton out.
true, but it all depends. Yeah, Aiden's doubtful. No Kevin Durant. It just all depends. If AD can get 35, okay. If D'Lo give 20, but offensively, we need somebody to compete with Devin Booker. And Anthony Davis has to offensively compete. But I'm just going to say, for the sake of argument, they just lose that game. So they're 0-1. But they get the Thunder at home. Dub. Then they got the Bulls at home. Another dub. Bulls on the road. But come on, they ain't losing the Bulls, bro. So that's 3-1. And then they got the Timberwolves at Minnesota. That's going to be an extremely tricky one.
It will
But
be.
I don't think they're going to lose to the Timberwolves again. Because they did lose at home to Minnesota. I don't think they're going to lose again. So they go 4-1 in the rest of March. Let me make sure it's not a back-to-back. Okay, it's not. They got Houston, but they're not losing to Houston with Anthony Davis. So that's 5-1. The Jazz, they got the Jazz. Oh, snap. My fault. I was getting a call.
They're good.
Bro, what the hell? Sorry. They got the Jazz twice, the Suns again, Clippers. I think the Clippers is probably a loss, but my God, it's spammed, bro.
I think it's looking good for the Lakers, man, but people are so out on them. I think they're fine. I mean, it's going to really come down to the last wire, but I think they can really pull it through.
10 games left. Let's say, 10 games left. Let's say they go. Can you hear that phone call?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm getting spammed by group FaceTimes right now. Bro. All right. So 10. So you go 7-3 in their last 10. They're 35-30. So that would be 42-40.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when LeBron's going to come back. So I just made that record prediction without LeBron James. 42-40. That's playing right there.
Yeah.
That's playing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because a lot of those games in the season, got 2 at Utah and then 2 at Minnesota. Got to win those games because those are not just Because when you play a Western Conference team, that's a 2-game swing. All right, bro, I'm getting attacked. I need to mute this.
Well, see, and the thing that people need to understand too is even if the Lakers just make the play-in, no team wants to go against a healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis play-in game. Nobody wants to, because LeBron's going to bring it, and Anthony Davis is going to bring it. You know what I mean? And because we've seen it before, we've seen him win a play-in game. We've seen at the level that they go to. And I think it's the same thing for the playoffs. I don't think anyone wants to see a healthy Lakers in the first round. I really don't think anyone does, because I think the Lakers are a way better team than their record shows. It's just injuries have been derailing them. They kind of move the team around. So I don't know.
I do think the Lakers are better than their record shows. I've been trying to say it all year. They just haven't had that continuity for all season to really string up like a consistent win streak, as like many teams have.
Yeah.
But I think once they get that continuity, I mean, when they had LeBron and AD in that new trade deadline, were they like 3-0, and then LeBron went down? That shows when everyone was together, beat Dallas. When everyone's together, like, oh my bro, why am I getting cold? But whatever. Got to move on to Lakers because I've been doing this for so long. Okay, 2 teams that I want to touch on. First of all, Boston. So who do you have coming out the East?
Man, I was saying Boston, but with how hot Philly is right now, it might be Philly. I'm gonna be honest.
No Milwaukee talks? Ain't throwing in the Bucks?
Man, I don't think Chris Middleton will ever be the player he was again. And I think that's really going to hurt him.
He's getting better. I think if you watch Milwaukee, Chris Middleton, he's not the same, but he's getting back to his old self. He had 20 last night. He's getting back. Getting back.
Well, I think it'll either be Milwaukee or Philly. I'm honestly out on Boston. I don't think they'll make it.
I think at the KD move, I redid my East-West predictions, and I picked Boston to beat Milwaukee in the conference finals because I liked Boston's team top to bottom better than I liked Milwaukee. And some of that also was due to Chris Middleton. I didn't know. There's some question marks around him, and they didn't have Jay Crowder at the time. But, man, these losses as of late from Boston, the recent level of play is concerning. Yep. It just is. I'm not going to pull away from my Boston pick yet, but I'm really feeling more I should pick Milwaukee now because Boston, the more I watch them play these teams, I still like them over Philly because every time they play Philly, they beat them. I think they just own Philly. They've been owning Philly for like this past last 5 years. So I'm not concerned about Boston against Philly. But when they play a team that's just obviously worse than them, Boston just plays down to their competition. And it's weak, dude.
Yeah.
They play down their competition. I'm concerned what I'm seeing. Lost to the Jazz over the weekend. Bad loss against Houston. We know that bad loss against Houston. Jason Tatum was nowhere to be found against that Jazz loss. Huge blown game at home to Brooklyn. Brooklyn's no bad team, but this is the post-trade deadline Nets, and you blow a 20-point lead at home to them.
Yeah.
And then what a lot of people don't know, they got 3 losses to Orlando. 3.
It's crazy.
I still like them because I think they can still hang with everybody. Like I said, they've been owning Philly for the last 5 years. I think they beat Philly within the last 2 months anyways. But they look shaky, especially when they play lesser teams. Yeah. I'm seeing some flaws.
Well, honestly, I think people are going to say it comes down to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think it really comes down to Robert Williams' health with how far they'll go. Because Robert Williams is a huge piece for their defense. I mean, he's like the main guy. Marcus Smart won DPOY, cool. But Robert Williams, he's your guy in the paint. You know what I mean? He's an elite rim protector. So I think has he been playing lately? I don't even know if he's been playing.
Let me check. I've been seeing him here and there, but I don't see consistently.
Because I know he's been going through some injuries this year.
Let me look at the Jazz game. I see to load. I see Grant Williams, but I don't see no Robert Williams. No.
Exactly. Just
Griffin's been in his spot.
See, in that it's showing in the regular season right now. They're losing a team like the Jazz. I mean, yeah, Jason Tatum, didn't show up. But the thing is if you had Robert Williams down there in the paint, that's going to help. You're going to get more rebounds, and they get more block shots, and the Jazz would have scored less points.
Yeah,
right?
not Blake Griffin, bro.
Yeah. Mm.
Bro, look at Blake. I don't know if you can see, but dude, this Blake Griffin, like, you can't see it.
I
Too
can't
much
see it.
light.
What is it? What does it say?
Just look at his picture on ESPN app.
Hang on.
Bro, it's hilarious. I can't believe Blake Griffin looks so ginger in here, bro.
Let me look it up. Blake.
Yeah, this is a player picture. I went to the box score and clicked on his profile.
Yo.
Yeah, you see that,
It
bro?
looks like his hair's dyed. What the hell?
That's what Blake Griffin looks like.
His hair looks like it's dyed. Oh
Dude, I
my.
know it's straight orange.
I know.
I knew he had some like red to him, but I didn't think he was that orange. But anyways, yeah, I don't like Blake Griffin in the rotation like that.
Me neither.
Yeah, the Robert Williams take pretty good. Grant Williams is a surprise shooter. I didn't think he was actually this good at shooting. He's 40% on the year.
Man, did you see against Cleveland when he told Donovan Mitchell that he's gonna make both of them?
Make both? Yeah.
He missed both of
He
them.
said both. Both. All he needed was one. All
I
he
know.
needed was one in a tie game, and he missed both. And he's a 40% three-point shooter. But yeah. But like you said, you're spot on about it. I mean, Taylor and Tucker, 19 points. All right, bro. You're spot on. This really comes down to Tatum and Brown. It did in the finals.
Yep.
Where was Brown? Where was Tatum? It seemed like whenever Tatum and Brown, my problem with Boston throughout the years was it just seemed like whenever Brown was off, Tatum was cold, and when Tatum was on, Brown was cold.
Mm-hmm.
This team is deadly, like extremely hard to beat when both Brown and Tatum are going for 30.
Yeah.
Like when they're both on together, this team is hard to beat. I don't know if anyone in the NBA can beat Boston when Brown and Tatum are on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think I saw in the finals too is I don't know how many games do I see these two players on at the exact same time. If I can get them on at the exact time, they'll be really good. I think also the problem with Tatum is he just takes too many threes. Have you been noticing that?
Mm-hmm. I have, yeah.
He's been taking way too many threes. I mean, he just took, 8 against the Jazz. I mean, he's 11 against Portland. He took 10. He was 2 for 10 against Houston. He took 17 in that double overtime loss to the Knicks a couple weeks ago.
That's
He's
crazy.
taking too many threes, bro. I know he was in the 3-point contest and he's not that bad of a shooter. He's a pretty good shooter, but he is taking a high volume of threes. He's now down to 34.5%.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been saying this since last year in the finals, and this is a hot take, but I'm still going to stand by it. I honestly think Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. I know that sounds crazy, but I think if Jaylen Brown, let's say, so I know Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are 1A, 1B, right? But I do think Jaylen Brown's the 1B because I don't think he's the 1A. I think Jason Tatum is the guy who they look to score first, right? They want to give him the ball first, and then they look to Brown if they don't have something there. So I really think if Jaylen Brown was in Jason Tatum's position as the number one option all the time, I think he'd do better than Jason Tatum's doing in the number one option. I'm going to be honest.
You see, I heard that take a lot after the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's true. I think it was just overreaction in Tatum's performance. I do think that the gap, I've been saying this for a while because I've heard this take a lot. The gap between Brown and Tatum isn't as far as it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you say Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you think one's a top 10 player, one's just like a nice supporting cat. The gap's not that far, but I still think Tatum's just better player than Jaylen Brown. Better rebounder. I like his passing better. I think efficiency also. I mean, I think it leans Jaylen Brown. As far as feel, but they're both like not high efficient players.
Mm-hmm.
They're still good efficient players. Their efficiency's around the same, honestly. But I just think overall as a basketball player, Jason Tatum is better, especially as a number one. But I've never seen Jaylen Brown in that number one role, so I wouldn't know how he would look.
Well, yeah. Well, it's obviously all just a hypothetical and it's speculation, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm still – because Boston also didn't have Al Horford. Al Horford's kind of been, getting those veteran injuries. Williams, so they're not 100%. Until I see this team 100% and then they're losing I'll take him out and pick Milwaukee. So I also really like how Milwaukee's coming back. And I was one of those people that said Milwaukee would have beat him with Middleton last year. But till then, I'm going to stay with Boston, but they look really shaky.
I agree.
You're a big Kobe guy, so I'm going to ask you to wrap this show up. First thing, I just want to mention really quick that I don't know, you've been watching how the Klay Thompson thing was pointing to his rings.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just wanted to mention real quick and get like a quick take from you. Golden State and Klay Thompson especially, and Draymond Green going on the podcast, bro, they're kind of insecure, dude. Like, it's just weird to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, Kendrick Perkins said it today, like, you should be focused more on playing instead of showing off your rings. Yeah. I think it's facts. Like, bro, if every time Klay is a bad game, and if every time Klay is just going to, like, get trashed upon, and all he does is point to his rings, he's kind of insecure, bro. Like, go out and play and show him what you – like, go out and prove it to him, bro. But I guess you have nothing to prove. But it's also, like, I just think they're insecure. I think if Klay Thompson and the Warriors, if all they want to do is talk about their rings, then just retire. And all you can do is talk about your rings. But you got a season to play, bro. Focus on winning the game on the road instead of just showing off your rings. And now Memphis, they got 2 wins back-to-back against Golden State. And Memphis was the team that was owned by Golden State. But now Memphis does not care about Golden State. Now Memphis is all tough against Golden State. They're not scared of him anymore. It's looking bad for Golden State. And this ring talk, Golden State needs to get focused. Draymond Green needs to put down the podcast mic. Klay Thompson needs to get in the gym and stop worrying about these 4 rings, because 4 rings don't matter between the lines on the hardwood, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say, I feel like they're focusing on wrong stuff. Like, why does Draymond Green have a podcast in the middle of the season? Like, why is he going and posting and talking about
podcast during the playoffs, bro? During the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I know, and that doesn't make sense to me. But how you're saying they're insecure? Like, I don't really want to throw shade at them, but I feel like they think that their rings might have been harder than they think they were, in a way, right? Because like when Klay's in here, holding up 4 fingers and all that, like, yeah, you won 4 rings, but like, come on, you know what I mean?
Where there's games they won with Klay Thompson scoring 8 points.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, dude. But if you want to talk about the Warriors as a whole, I'm out on them. I think the Warriors are going to be a first-round exit. I'm going to be honest, if they even make the playoffs.
Yeah. Can't win a game on the road. Like,
they're done. I don't think Steph will win another ring. I'm going to be honest.
How much does Andrew Wiggins' absence play into that, though?
We don't know. They won't tell us, and we do not know. They won't tell us, and we have to respect Andrew Wiggins. We're probably not going to learn a lot from Andrew Wiggins.
No, I'm saying how much does his absence play into them not winning those games?
I don't think that much, because, yes, Andrew Wiggins is important. That's another, 15 to 17 points for you. Great defense on the wing. But is Andrew Wiggins going to make – this team isn't that good defensively right now. Is Andrew Wiggins going to just make this a top playoff defense again? No.
He was important during their finals run, though.
But I thought as a whole, yes, he was very important in the finals run, but they were way better defensively last year than they are this year. So I was just saying, is he a great defender? Yes, but would him going in the lineup, would that just instantly transform this Golden State to being a top playoff defense again? No, because you still don't have Gary Payton. I don't know how great – is Draymond Green taking a step back on defense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's hurt the Warriors this year, aside from Steph being injured, is Draymond's regression on defense. It's really showing this year.
I don't think he's all league anymore, honestly.
It's really showing.
He was all league last year, and he was a huge reason to why they were a good defensive team. Not good, great defensive team last year. But yes, will they be better with Andrew Wiggins, of course, but would they be back to that finals team that we expected? Nah.
I don't think so either.
They went on the road, bro.
7 and what? 20 games with Wiggins in, but yeah, like you said, I don't think it'll be that big of a difference.
Yo, it's funny you said that about the winning on the road, because so when Klay did the thing with his fingers, right? I saw on Instagram, and there were people in the comments saying, like, that's about how many road wins you guys got here.
Yeah, Klay Thompson has 3 less championships than they have road wins. The Lakers have a better road record, by the way.
Are they 7-28, 7-29?
Yeah. What are the Lakers like? I think the Lakers are like 500 on the road. Like,
I know.
they're not.
I know they don't have only 7 wins on the road. I know that.
Yeah, no, I think they have like 16, like 13 or something.
But the Warriors make no sense. They're like one of the best home teams in the league and one of the worst away teams in the league. Like they can't play away, but when they're at home, they're one of the best teams in the league.
They were always like that, though, but it's getting bad. They were always like that, though. I remember doing the championship runs as a Cavs fan. Felt like they always, Steph Curry, too, I felt like they always played better at Oracle Arena than they did on the road. But it wasn't like a huge deep difference. I think, who called him out? Was it, someone said it. Was it Gilbert Arenas? I know he'd be chatting. But it was somebody recently it was a former NBA player who was talking about Golden State's huge problems on the road, and someone pointed out that said Golden State was always better at home throughout their entire title runs. Their defense was better at home. Their shooting and all that was better at home. But when they went on the road, their defense wasn't as good, so they kind of relied on them shooting you out the gym when it came to playing on the road during their championship runs. And they kind of got away with it because they were really good and better on defense. But now, since their defense is taking a step back and they're not as good, their road flaws are showing. I gotta look it up. Some former NBA player said it. It's probably Gilbert Arenas because he's been the one who's been chatting a lot. I'll look it up real quick. But if someone wants to talk
Gilbert Arenas been saying some real questionable stuff these days, man.
He's chatting, bro. I mean, Gilbert.
Like his whole Bill and beer take, man. I can't do it.
Well, Gilbert Arenas did drop a couple of videos on his podcast saying the Golden State Warriors are in trouble. So it's probably Gilbert Arenas because I see a new clip every day. But that's enough Warriors. But I want to ask you guys, since you guys are here, because Kyrie Irving just dropped, 36 against the Lakers over the weekend? 36, something like that. He dropped like 36 points, and I love Kyrie, man. As a Cavs fan, he's been one of my favorite players ever. He's one of the best players I've ever seen live, one of the best players I've ever just watched highlight to highlight, the way he can just move. And I want to ask you guys, oh, snap. I just realized this was a new feature on StreamYard that Is Kyrie Irving a Hall of Famer if he retired today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
I think he is too. I was just waiting for someone to say like, nah.
I think because even if you look at just his influence on the game, you know what I mean? Because like he's definitely. I mean, you guys can't deny he's had a huge impact on the game, and he's gonna have an impact for generations coming. You know, the ability to finish with both hands, dribble as well as he can, and then obviously he's got that chip. How many All NBA selections does he have though?
He's got 3.
3, okay.
What about you, Michael?
Actually, I don't mean to backtrack, but I just want to bring up this one more point about the Warriors.
Yeah.
So over the last 5 games, how many games have the Warriors won? Are they 0-5?
No. They won a couple games. They had a couple home games that they won. They had a really good home win the other day. I gotta look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, they beat Phoenix and Milwaukee in overtime at home. The last 5 games was Milwaukee at home, Phoenix at home, Clippers on the road. They're on a 3-game losing streak, and they're all on the road. They had Atlanta, I think. Curry had 50 against? Yeah, Curry had 50
that's
against
that
the
50
Clippers.
piece.
Against Atlanta, Curry had 30.
So
so they've won in the last 5, they've won 2 out of the 5. And the 3 games that they lost were all on the road. The 2 games that they won were all at home.
Okay. Well, obviously that 50-point game against the Clippers, he shot 71% from the field, 57% from 3, and they couldn't win. Right? And it's becoming
because defensively they suck.
And it's becoming a huge issue. Well, what else more do you want from Steph than 50 points with 70% from the field and over 55% from 3?
When Poole's giving you an actually rare efficient 19.
This is a conversation. We don't need to talk about it, but I was talking about this last night. Over the last month, I think Austin Reeves has been better than Jordan Poole.
We could have that debate. Austin Reeves,
not a bad take.
Not a bad take. I think as Jordan Poole is weird because his stats look good. Like his box scores in terms of points per game, they look good.
Mhm.
But you have to understand he has some all-star stats, but he's taking all-star shots.
Yep.
I wonder what Austin Reeves would look like if he took the all-star shots like a Jordan Poole, because he took some all-star shots last night, and he
Yep.
had a very efficient 35 points.
Well, if you ask me, while Steph was out, Jordan Poole, he was just jacking stuff up.
He was chucking.
Like,
he was chucking. Yeah, he was chucking. Jordan Poole is still one of the best bench players in basketball, but efficiency is really his issue because I feel like he wants to be Steph Curry, but he can't. He's a way more one-dimensional player than Steph Curry because at least Steph Curry was not a terrible rebounder for his size, not a bad passer. Jordan Poole is very inefficient, not a good rebounder, worse defender than Steph, worse passer than Steph. He wants to be Steph. But he is a shot chucker, though. I still think Jordan Poole is better, but I don't think it's far off because defensively, Austin Reeves clears.
Oh, yeah.
Don't think it's a bad take at all. And we could be having those discussions. I want to save that for like another day or something like that. That would be a good topic. But back to
the
Kyrie.
way Reeves was getting to the line,
Yeah. No, he
that
can draw some
debate now.
contact, bro. But yo, Mike, I want to ask you, bro. Back to the Kyrie thing about your take on why Kyrie Irving's Hall of Famer.
Oh, his impact.
If he retired, and by the way, this is like if he retired today, not like by the end of his career. If he retired today,
his impact on the game is one that he's one of the most skilled guards I've ever put my eyes on, for one. And then that's translated to his production. I mean, granted, he was playing he was playing with LeBron, but at the same time, like he was still doing those spectacular things before LeBron got there, and then afterwards, he's still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's got a ring, he's got a couple All-Stars. Like we've seen people get in the Hall of Fame for less or with less.
Actually, I actually wanted to ask you. So when you asked me to join, you were saying that what LeBron topic did you already talk about that? I saw you mention.
Oh no, I was gonna. I didn't know if we had time, but yeah, since you brought it back up, I'll bring it after the Kyrie thing.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering. I hear that because now that you said Kyrie, people like to say that LeBron hasn't made anyone better, but he made Kyrie better. I don't care. He made Kyrie Irving better when LeBron went and played with him, right? Because if you look at his numbers, right?
I'm kind of on the. Go ahead.
I was gonna say his numbers got better. He got more experience in the playoffs, got more experience in the finals, right? And I think LeBron really taught him, what it took. I don't want to say to win because Kyrie hasn't won, but in a way, he kind of has taught him, or at least to a better understanding than he knew before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm kind of on the fence with that one because like before LeBron got to Cleveland, like Kyrie wasn't winning that many games, but we not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't because of the lack of talent on him, because he was still balling out himself, like individually. Yeah. But at the same time, when a player like LeBron comes to your team, like one, yes, you're going to have to take a back seat, but that did help him as far as like getting his career further. We have to have that conversation, but I don't know, because he was great before LeBron got there. He was probably just greater when you play with a superstar like LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so so you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah,
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at it. So in his best year without LeBron was probably 2012, 2013. He only played 60 games that year, but he averaged 22.5 with 6 assists. Okay.
Oh, best years before LeBron?
Yeah, that was probably his best year. Yeah, I mean, but
I would say 2013-14.
Could be.
The year that he was All-Star Game MVP.
Okay, so that season he averaged 21 points and 6 assists. Okay.
I'd say that was his best year.
In 2016-2017 with LeBron, he averaged 25 points, 6 assists, a little bit over a steal, right? He shot 40% from 3 and 90% from the free throw line. Yeah. So his efficiency got better. He was taking more shots. He was taking more shots with LeBron on the team than he was in 2013, 2014, right? He was taking more shots. His efficiency got better. He was a better decision maker, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's valid to say that Kyrie really got better when LeBron was on the floor because
But can't you also argue that's just LeBron just took a step back and allowed the natural progression of Kyrie Irving? Because I probably think Kyrie had the skill set to average 27 a game if LeBron didn't even show up.
possibly
You could
that's
just
very
say
possible.
that was just a natural progression of Kyrie Irving. Because
Well,
as a Cavs fan, I saw that as from Kyrie before LeBron showed up. But
well,
yeah, I think LeBron was really not like huge. I don't want to say LeBron's like his dad or anything, but
yeah,
LeBron did have some fingerprints into Kyrie's progression because LeBron could have just been like to Kyrie, like, hey, step back, bro. This is my team. I'm taking the shots. Give me 20 a night, but I'm going to be out here giving my 25 to 30 while I'm the best player. LeBron said, yo, Kyrie, you my brother. Yo, this game, bro, honestly, bro, you get the ball, bro. You go off. You get your shots. You're capable of making those shots. That's I think LeBron is given enough credit for. He allowed for Kyrie to naturally progress. Kyrie was going to progress anyways, but if LeBron's joining your team, sometimes you might have to take that back seat. And LeBron put Kyrie in a situation where he was the second best player, but he didn't like take a huge backseat to where his numbers were going to go down and he wasn't getting his shots. He was getting his shots. There were series where Kyrie was taking as many shots as LeBron, if not more.
that really was like a 1-2 tandem though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you remember that San Antonio game when Kyrie had like how many was it? Like 50 something?
55.
55. And LeBron gave Kyrie the ball. Because
Yeah.
LeBron knew that Kyrie was hot that night, so he kept giving it to Kyrie, and Kyrie, he flourished.
Yeah.
Hell, I look at that game 5 in the 16 finals.
Mm-hmm.
How they both can go off for 40.
Yep.
Game 4 of the 2017 finals when Kyrie had 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
Or game 3 when Kyrie had 38.
Are they the only duo in NBA history to both have over 40 points in a finals game? Or are they one
41 each in game 5, 2016?
Are they the only two to ever do that?
Yes, I think so. There's no way another duo went for 40.
Yeah, I don't think it's done that.
I know I don't want to make this a topic, but since we're on the duo topic, I've been creating a lot of buzz within the community when I responded to these old heads in the community who keep claiming that the 2017 finals was even. Bro, the fact that LeBron and Kyrie both had to average like 35 in a 2-game stretch in Cleveland to even make that a series in 2017 is insane. But I've talked about it way too much. I just wanted to add that.
Hold on, just touch on it real quick. Cause like, what basis are they coming from saying that those teams were even?
Because they look at the series box score and they try to like match up. Like they say, oh, Kevin. They just casually say LeBron and KD cancel out. Curry and Kyrie cancel out. Love and Clay cancel out. Draymond and J.R. Smith cancels out. Some of them go so far as say Tyronn Lue and Steve Kerr cancel out. And it's like, bro, what the?
So, and this is what I say to people like, yeah, Kevin Love might have averaged,
the same. Kevin Love averaged the same amount of points as Klay Thompson.
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything because that could have been like Kevin Love could have scored. He could have scored 40 in game 1 and then come back and then scored 5 points.
Thank you.
In game
Thank
2.
you.
And,
oh my!
Like averages don't tell the whole story, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you, bro. You know how much I love hearing that because you're finally the first person who understands how a box score works. I've been trying to tell people for so long. Sometimes you can't just use series box scores to like because series box scores sometimes they don't accurately tell what happens in each individual game. So yeah, Klay Thompson in 26 Kevin Love averaged the same amount of points as Klay Thompson in the 2017 finals. It shows that in the overall series box score, but it doesn't accurately represent what happened in each individual game because Kevin Love wasn't giving you 16 a game in each game. He just wasn't. Game 3, for example, was a huge disparity.
Oh my God.
Yes, did Kevin Love and Klay Thompson average the same amount of points in 2016? But if you look at in 2017, if you look at game 3, Kevin Love was 1 for 9, and Klay Thompson had 30 in the biggest game of the series. Klay Thompson wasn't giving you that 16 a game, and Klay Thompson definitely wasn't giving you that 16 a game. He was dropping 30. Huge disparity. So that's why I don't like using series box scores. Sometimes lie to you. Series box scores are fine to use if you understand that series box score stats were consistent throughout each game. But if you don't know what happened in each individual game, then you can't use series box scores because they don't accurately tell you what happened in each game. You talked about Kevin Love. One game he'll do this, one game he'll do this. A perfect example of how averages, because series box scores are just averages. A perfect example would be Karis LeVert. So this year, Karis LeVert, he dropped 41 points in a game. And then literally the next game, he dropped 1 point.
Yep.
But if you do the 2-game span average, the box score will say in that 2-game average, he dropped 21 points a game. But did he really drop 21 points a game?
Okay. No. Dude, I feel like that should be common sense. I feel like people should just understand.
But people don't. They just casually look at overall series. Karis LeVert clearly didn't average 21 points in a 2-game span. Kevin Love just didn't average 16 points. You can't casually use series box scores unless you know that if you use a series box score to say someone averaged 30 points a game in the series, if he consistently averaged around 30 points per game, yeah, you can use a series box score. But to blurt out numbers without knowing what happened in each individual game, specifically key games like Game 3, then don't use series box scores because they don't tell the whole story because they're just averages, and outliers could heavily influence averages. For another example. On the series box score, if you just look at the series box score of the 2017 NBA Finals, it will tell you that Kyrie Irving dropped more points than Steph Curry. But that's just not true because if you break in every single game down, that series went to 5 games. 3 of the 5 games, Steph Curry actually dropped more points than Kyrie Irving. But Kyrie Irving's overall series numbers are higher because he had those 2 monster games in Cleveland. But if you break down those 3 games where Curry was better, they were all 3 at Golden State. Steph Curry averaged 31 points a game. Kyrie Irving averaged 23 points a game. So if you take his 2 biggest games away and just do the majority games, Steph Curry actually outplayed Kyrie more games than he didn't. But if you just look at the series box score, it will tell you that Kyrie Irving actually had the edge over Steph Curry, which just isn't the case because at the end of the day, they're just averages, and some outliers like Kyrie Irving's 40-point game compared to Steph Curry's 14-point game would mess up the average, would just influence the averages. But I'm glad you brought that up. I've been waiting to say that for so long, bro.
It's the truth. And then it's like, you can't really say like, well, this player did this. He scored this many amount of points. And it's like, well, there's other aspects to basketball that contribute to a winning team, not just averaging 13, 14, 15 points a game.
Well,
are you good defensively?
Yes, exactly.
Do you make the game easier for your other teammates? Yes. Do you move off the ball well? Like there's other aspects to basketball. For example, Draymond Green and J.R. Smith average the same amount of points. But first of all these people all only look at points per game. Yes, do they average the same amount of points? But that Draymond Green isn't just a points per game player. Yeah, he gives you all NBA defense. He was literally depoy that season. He's all league defense. Plus, he gives you all that passing. But if you just look at the points per game, it looks like J.R. Smith and Draymond Green cancel out. Makes no sense.
Well, you also got to look at when the players scored those points during the games, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's it's like we were talking about earlier with Anthony Davis. I mean, he's averaging 26 a game this year, but he had an 8-point game earlier in the year, right? I mean, it's the same thing. It's just in the regular season. Just because you're averaging 26 a game doesn't mean you're getting 26 per game. You know, because you have a good game, then you have a bad game, and then you know what I mean.
They're just averages.
Yeah, it averages. Yeah, I agree. Averages aren't the best way to look at things all the time. They definitely aren't.
But people don't understand that. I'm glad I'm surrounded by a couple of people who know. I like using series box scores because if a player averages 30 points per game, and if you break down each game, he drops around 30 in each game, then yeah, the series box score is fine because he averaged 30. But dude, if he's doing a Karis LeVert where he has 41, then 1 point in the next game, you're telling me he averaged 21 points a game? Are you serious, bro? It just sounds like you just actually didn't break each game down. You're just casually looking at Basketball Reference to push a narrative.
Well, I mean, yeah, like, and that's a lot of people in our community do that. Like, they just look at points and don't look at anything else, right? Like, I like Crunch. I like talking to Crunch. He's a cool dude, but he does that a lot, right? He
The
always
Mo
wants to bring
Williams,
up.
Pau
Hey,
Gasol points per
Yeah.
the
game
thing with
comparison.
Crunch is that Crunch values your skill set over your production. Like he values your production, but if your skill set is greater than your production, he's gonna look at that. He's gonna look at that first.
I agree. Yeah, because he's always like Casual just said. You got Mo Williams and you got Pau Gasol, but he doesn't want to look at the rebounds. He doesn't want to look at the efficiency, right? It's
Mo
just
Williams was a replacement All-Star.
that is true. But hey, he was still an All-Star though.
That's true, but then you can say the same thing about Devin Booker. Devin Booker made 2 All-Stars by being a replacement.
That's true.
Yeah, Mo Williams is only All-Star because he's on that high record Cleveland team. But no.
Well, I mean, he was playing good that year though.
Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't Pau Gasol.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. He was playing good that year, but we got to look at what did he do in the playoffs? What did he do against the Magic?
See, when you bring that, they'll only look at the regular season numbers and act like that just instantly translates to the playoffs.
Well,
And then they'll blame LeBron for not making Mo Williams shoot better. I literally was in a live and someone said maybe if LeBron would have gotten more open shots. Oh, no. Someone said LeBron's inability to hit a jump shot hurt his teammates' abilities to hit their jump shots. I thought that was the dumbest thing.
I don't think it affected his teammates' abilities to hit the jump shots, but I do think LeBron played great. He probably couldn't have played any better. He averaged 38, 8, and 8. What else more do you want from him? But I do think, I'm not trying to come across as like arrogant or anything like that, but I do think if LeBron was a slightly better shooter, I think they would have easily won that series. And I'm not trying to put the blame on LeBron.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to put the blame on LeBron.
I agree. I think everyone agrees. If LeBron had a jumper in 2009, it would have helped him be able to make the defense more honest, that especially against those Boston series. If he would have had a jump shot against Boston, it would have probably fared him a lot better. I do agree. I just think they make that LeBron jump shot thing a lot bigger than what it was supposed to be. Like it was the biggest problem in the world.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't blame LeBron's jump shot on losing if you look what his teammates are doing. If he's averaging 38, 8, and 8, that's not on LeBron.
Yeah, I've kind of strayed away from a lot of TikTok things because like the last live that I was on, I had to put up I had the green screen thing behind me, and I was saying like a lot of NBA discourse these days is disingenuous and it's kind of pointless at this point.
I was about to be my next topic too, but I want to really quick because I didn't finish what I was going to say on Kyrie. Because disingenuous takes, out of context takes, exactly that anti-LeBron take I was telling you about, Lucky, that I was going to bring up. But really quick, last thing on Kyrie. I don't know if he's 100% lock right now. If he retired today, he would be in my Hall of Fame because he has an extremely good resume. I don't know if the Hall of Fame will see it like that. If he retired today, I think he is to me because he's one of the best point guards of his era. He's an 8-time All-Star. He's a 3-time All-NBA. And I think the most important thing is outside those all-star selections, he has a huge contribution to a championship winning team. Not just a huge contribution. He's dropping 40 to win a championship. Not just a championship, a LeBron James championship that everyone saw and everyone's going to remember. You can't tell NBA history without Kyrie Irving in Game 5 dropping 41 points a game. And I know they lost, but Kyrie Irving's out here dropping 40 in 2017. So he has huge contributions to championship winning teams. He's in my Hall of Fame. He's 100% locked for me if he retired today. I don't know to other people if he retired today, but I know he's in 1,000% lock by the end of his career. If he gets like 2 more All-NBAs, he will be 1,000% lock.
Well, but Casual, the thing is too about the 2016 in Game 7 when Kyrie hit that shot, right?
Yes. He has I forgot to mention that. He also has the moment when he hit one of the best shots in NBA history, a shot that's going to play in the Hall of Fame till basketball just to the foreseeable future.
Exactly. Well, see, the thing is with that too is people don't want to talk about the next sequence, right? So they get a stop on Golden State. The Cavs come down. They have the ball, right? Kyrie drives to the basket. The defense collapses on him because they don't want him to get to the paint. And then he gives it to LeBron, and then he gets fouled. Then he hits the free throw to ice the game, right? So you could, I mean, Kyrie is mainly responsible for closing up the game. I mean, for the points anyway. LeBron got that block. I'm not trying to discredit LeBron, but from pure offense, Kyrie he kind of closed up the game for him.
And that was the chemistry him and LeBron had because they also did that on Christmas Day when Kyrie drove baseline in the
I remember
basket.
that.
LeBron cut down the middle and had that monstrous dunk. They did that. Shout out to LeBron. Some old head will probably think LeBron faked that wrist injury. Remember when he fell down before he hit that free throw?
Dude, I thought he broke his hand. I'm not even joking.
Dude, he was like, he looked hurt. And then
know.
he just walked up and he hit that game-clinching free throw. If you tell any old head about LeBron not being clutch, I don't think they remember that free throw at all. That's game-sealing free throw.
If you don't think LeBron's clutch, bring up the shot when LeBron hit the mid-range over Kawhi Leonard to put him up.
I do, but then they'll say, oh, the Heat were already up in that game. That doesn't count. I'm like, oh, my God.
Well, he still iced the game.
Like Skip Bayless is one of those pushers that say LeBron isn't clutch because a lot of his shots were either tied game or they were up, so there wasn't as much pressure as if they were down. And then I just bring up game 2 of the conference finals in 2009 when the Cavs were down.
Well, yeah, and the thing is about, especially with that Ray Allen shot, I don't know that wasn't even mentioned, but people like to talk about when Ray Allen hit that 3.
He scored 16 in that quarter, and that was Ray's only shot.
That's what I was gonna say. LeBron is the reason they came back in that game. If LeBron didn't have those 16, Ray Allen wouldn't have even been able to tie the game with that shot.
2013 NBA Finals is a weird one that a lot of LeBron fans, haters, they would say, oh, LeBron James never won without a super team or a star player who could just get 30 points in that series. And I just tell you, a great case is 2013. LeBron James, there was nobody, look at Basketball Reference, for the 2013 NBA Finals. There was nobody over 20 points on LeBron's team. And Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade was close, but close isn't enough. No one was above 20 points. And Chris Bosh only had 11 points and 0 points in Game 7, by the way. So if you want to say LeBron, because I've heard some people push that LeBron James has not won a championship without an elite sidekick scorer, 2013 right there. Because all they see is Anthony Davis dropping 25, Kyrie again 29, and they just think LeBron James is yet to win a championship without an elite scorer. But I think Dwayne Wade in 2012 was only 22 points a game. Scottie Pippen dropped like 22 points a game in one time. People dude, also, I think Crunch and all of them, and that's no disrespect to the people in the community, but another narrative they like to push is that, because you know how Kyrie Irving averaged more than Steph Curry in the 2016 NBA Finals, and they like to say, oh, Jordan's never had a teammate who averaged more than their opponent's best player. And then you just pull up the 1991 NBA Finals when Scottie Pippen averaged more points than every single Laker, and that includes Magic and Worth. Yeah. And also, who had the closeout series 30-plus in that game to close it out? It was Scottie Pippen, not Jordan. Scottie Pippen dropped more than Jordan in the closeout game. But that's beside the point. The disingenuous points you were talking about against LeBron, Mike, that I wanted to bring up and I told Lucky about, it's the whole Bron versus Kobe thing. And I think the LeBron versus Kobe comparison is so dumb, and it's the late 2000s comparisons. I just think it's so disingenuous. So there's graphics. So the Kobe fans, Mike fans, what they'll do is what they'll do is they'll point out that LeBron lost to the Spurs in the finals, but Kobe beat them the next year. LeBron loses the Magic when Kobe beat them in the finals the same seat. The week after.
Man. Go ahead.
LeBron loses to Boston. LeBron kept losing to Boston when Kobe beat him in the finals. And I just think it's the most disingenuous thing you can do is comparing LeBron of the late 2000s to Kobe in the late 2000s, because it's just a bad comparison. Because you do understand, you're comparing LeBron from 2007 to 2010. And you're comparing LeBron from 2007 to 2010 to Kobe from that era. You do understand you're comparing LeBron in year 4 through 6 to Kobe in year 12 through 14. You do understand in those years that you're pointing out to, LeBron wasn't nearly developed as he was past those Miami. LeBron didn't get really developed until his time in Miami. So you're comparing a not fully developed LeBron. He's in year 4 and 6. and you're comparing a year Kobe, who's in year 12 and 14. Kobe's a seasoned champion who took his licks and was fully developed at his peak. Meanwhile, LeBron, yes, LeBron was still an MVP level player, but I don't think he was not nearly developed because he didn't have the Kobe in 07 was in year 11 and LeBron was in year 4. That's a 7-year difference between Kobe. Actually, no. The year they're comparing about is Kobe in 08. So Kobe in 08 was year 12. LeBron in 07 when he played San Antonio was in year 4. That is an 8-year difference between Kobe and LeBron. That's an 8-year difference of development that LeBron did not have compared to Kobe. Kobe had 8 years of experience on LeBron James. That's extremely disingenuous. To put into perspective where LeBron was in year 12 through 14, that was his first 3 years back in Cleveland. The same LeBron that averaged 35 points in the NBA Finals in 2015. The same LeBron that dropped 41 points back-to-back to come back down 3-1 in 2016. The same LeBron the year after, in year 14, that averaged 34-point triple-double on Kevin Durant's head. That's the same LeBron James. 34-point, year 14 LeBron, 34 points, triple-double on the number 1 defense in basketball. Same LeBron James. Just to put into perspective, that's where LeBron was in his career compared to Kobe in his career. And it's like, bro, if you want to play that game, if you want to compare Kobe to, trust me, bro, against San Antonio, against Boston, against Orlando, some of the best defenses of that era, plug in year 4 Kobe against San Antonio. Plug him in. Plug him in.
Okay.
Well, it's not even that.
Plug in year 4 Kobe against San Antonio. And let's see the results. He ain't beating the Spurs. So
and it's like,
bro.
It's first of all, Kobe had a better team because it's like, would you rather have an out of prime injured Big Z and Mo Williams, or would you rather have Pau Gasol and Derek Fisher?
Thank you. And at the end of the day, bro, basketball is a team sport. There's no way you can convince me that Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom, Andrew Bynum is worse than Big Z, Mo Williams, and Anderson Varejao. There's no way you can convince me that, bro. So not only was Kobe more developed in that time, Kobe had 8 more years of experience, plus a better supporting cast. So get me with that disingenuous argument, bro. Yeah, this going on TikTok, and I'm tagging all the old heads too, bro.
Well, okay, here's the thing. So casual, you know how I've been kind of said to say that I have Kobe over LeBron, and I've tried to argue Kobe over LeBron. If I'm keeping it real, I have LeBron at 2, okay, and I got Kobe at 4, okay. I don't really think Kobe's better than LeBron. When I say Kobe's better than LeBron, it's bias, right? Because I'm a huge Kobe fan.
Oh no, if you're a Kobe fan, you say this. Oh, it's fun and
games. I'm a Kobe
right?
fan too, but at the same time, you got to look at it. Took for Kobe to retire for me to look at the sport as like a whole. Because if you ask all of my friends, like before 2016, bro, I fucking hated LeBron. Like I always said before 2016, LeBron might be the best athlete, but as far as the best player, no. But that 3-1 comeback, bro, like you got to start looking at stuff like in the real lens, bro.
Well, the thing with LeBron, which is kind of starting to hurt him since he's still in the league, is all of his advanced stats are dropping. He used to be neck and neck with Jordan. A lot of these advanced stats like PER, he was neck and neck with Jordan. But with LeBron playing and losing, right, it's hurting that.
Yeah. I also like to say that people don't bring up, I think Jordan retiring twice just helped his career so much.
Man, look, man.
Because, come on, bro. Because, I think Jordan had a great career. I have Jordan as the greatest player ever, right? But I think his legacy gets saved because he retired twice. And when he retired in 93, maybe they beat the Knicks in 94. Maybe they go back to the finals. Maybe. Going to 4 straight's hard. Maybe they go back to the finals in 94. But I don't think they're beating the Kings Rockets. No, I don't think they had the personnel to – this is before they had Dennis Rodman. I don't think they had the personnel to beat Akeem. You know why I don't think they had the personnel to beat Akeem? Because when Jordan came back in 95, again, they never bring back how Jordan came back in 95. When Jordan came back in 95, they got killed by Orlando. Why? Because their team wasn't good enough. Their team wasn't good enough.
They say he was rusty.
This was before they say Jordan. This was before they had Dennis Rodman, and they say, "Oh, because Jordan was rusty." Bro, no, he wasn't.
Let me take that one because
Michael Jordan had a perfect. I think you're probably going to say it, but Michael Jordan he wasn't 41 points in the finals against Orlando, but he had an acceptable Michael Jordan performance against Orlando. The problem was their team wasn't good enough to beat Orlando.
So I just did a video on that not too long ago. Like you say,
really?
he was rusty, but at the same time, I say for a career, Jordan averaged 36 and 5 on 49% shooting. In those 1995 playoffs, he averaged 31, 6 and 4 on 48%. So like, how rusty was he?
They say, no, bro. They say Jordan was rusty. They say Jordan was rusty. He averaged 31 points on 48% from the field. The problem was their team just wasn't good enough. That's why they lost to Orlando. So you can't tell me they would have just beat a team if Jordan didn't retire. I hear all the time. If Jordan would have retired, they would have won 8 rings. They're not beating Akeem. I could tell because they didn't beat Orlando. They get Rodman, they're going to three-peat. Jordan gets his little break from basketball. They get better. They win 3 in a row. Bro,
well, Kenny Smith said that they beat the Bulls almost every time that they played them.
What would Jordan's career would have looked like if he would have played out like 3 more years, if he would have stayed in the NBA after 98? He would have had some losses, playoff losses, maybe some room. Maybe he would have had some room for some playoff disasters after 98. But we don't know because he retired for years, came back, and played on an insignificant Wizards team that he had no chance of having these playoff blunders because the team was trash. But we don't know because Jordan has 5 missed years, basically, of where Jordan could have had these playoff blunders. Jordan would have got bounced out of the first round. 5 more years of Jordan. Maybe Jordan gets swept here. We don't know because he retired and it saves his legacy. He would have more playoff losses on his belt. Maybe room for more disasters, but we don't know because he retired. And I've always tried to tell people this. Jordan retiring saved his career. Jordan retiring helped his legacy so much because he had years. There's all these years here because when he retired, when he was 36, the second time he retired.
Yeah, 36.
36 and 98.
Yeah.
So he could have had those years when the Bulls were starting to break down, when Pippen starting to break down. It could have gotten ugly. Phil could have left. Blah blah blah. Could have gotten ugly.
Exactly.
But we don't know that. So Jordan's legacy just gets a little protected because he retired.
Actually, casual. I'm glad you said that because I want to talk about that real quick. So people say that LeBron's always wanted to play with these players, right? And how Jordan has worked with what he got. Why do we not talk about how Jordan, people say, or Jordan was saying that he wasn't going to come back because Phil wasn't coming back. So you know what I mean? And they weren't gonna. I don't think they were gonna bring Scottie back, were they?
No, because they didn't want to pay him all.
He got paid, bro.
Exactly. So why are we acting like that? MJ was just perfectly okay with everything that was going on when he was threatening to leave the team if they got rid of Phil and Scottie, and that's what he did. He left the team when he retired. So
that was my problem when Players Choice had that topic, like, would MJ fare better on the 2018 Cavs? Like, no. I have to say no, and the reason is because in 1998 he left because he couldn't have the same team and coach that he knew he had a winning recipe with. In 2018, LeBron teams gets flipped so many times, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't flipped for the better either.
Roster gets flipped in the summer. Roster gets flipped at the deadline. Roster gets flipped twice. Championship roster gets flipped twice.
That's crazy.
But did LeBron run from the smoke?
Oh, no. Yo, casual. So I posted a video last night. Did you see it? It was about. So basically, I was in a live, and these 2 people, they're about my age, and they were trying to tell me that I can't have MJ's the GOAT because I've never seen him play. Really? And they were just
messed up, bro. I don't get anyone's stuff.
I respect that because at the same time, that's the same thing that they.
Which one is it, bro?
People it's the same thing they use against LeBron fans.
It's a black screen, and trust the love or trust whatever. Yeah, he said he's gonna do a stitch on it because he's mad about it. But to me, that makes no sense because if I did players that I've only seen play, I'd have Damian Lillard in my top 15.
Dude, DeMar DeRozan's going to be pushing top 15.
Yeah.
My list would be straight players because I'm young. So my list is going to be players from the 2010s. Like if I did the top players that I've ever seen play, it'll literally just be the best players of the 2010s list. It would literally just be that. Because I started watching basketball when Kobe won his last championship. So like I can't really put Kobe on my list. Like,
well, but see, they were trying to say, well, you have no way to tell how good they were. You got articles, you got full games on YouTube, you got stats you can look at, you got highlights you can look at. There's so many things to tell. You got accolades. There's so many ways to tell why you have someone ranked ahead of above someone that you've never seen play.
And I hate when old heads say that too, because it's like, bro, back in the day, like I'm young, so like when I started watching basketball, I could go online and watch everybody. Stream East exists, NBA TV exists, NBA League Pass exists, so I can see everyone every night, bro. Back then, bro, I can ask my dad about this, bro. Back then, bro, they only saw like the best of the best teams like once or twice a week, and they never saw any of the small market teams. They only saw the best players. So like, I also think a lot of people love Michael Jordan so much because Michael Jordan was winning him on TV, and they just didn't see all those great teams back in the day. But I ain't got nothing.
We literally live in the age of technology. Like we can go look at all that crap.
Yeah, exactly. I can pull up your games, dissect them, and now since I'm not from that era, I have no nostalgia from that era, so I'm more objective grading that era as well.
Thank
I'm
you.
always being biased towards my era. If you look at my top 15, top 20s list, I got a lot more love for Steph Curry and Kevin Durant than a lot more people do because I'm just more biased to my era. Everyone's gonna be biased to their era.
See, but what happened though, what I liked is somebody that I follow, his name's Zarelli. So he joined my live and he's like 40. And he was saying, well, how can you put LeBron ahead of MJ when you've never seen MJ play? He was using their logic against them. He goes, you never understood how great MJ was. You didn't see him play. So how are you gonna say LeBron's better when you didn't even see MJ play in the adversity they had to go through? And they're like, oh well, it's not the same. Like, I don't know, dude.
Not the same. Well, if I was born in 1985 and grew up watching Michael Jordan in his last three-peat, I would be more obsessed with Michael Jordan than, let's say, a person who was born after Michael Jordan. I'd have more love.
If you're gonna say that since I didn't watch, then I can't say nothing about it. Then the only people that are allowed to talk about the NBA should be people that have been around since the 40s.
Exactly, and bro, like, what happens? That logic's so flawed too, because what happens when those people die?
Yeah. See,
would those players die as well? Would discourse around those players die as well?
Exactly. Well, see, and the thing is too is that people like to say, oh, you have to see them play, to really understand how to rank them, right? And I like Chilltown. I've talked to him multiple times, but that's the one thing I don't really like about Chilltown. You're having a debate with him. He thinks that since he saw everybody play, he's right. Because he'll always throw that in there. He'll be like, oh, well, I saw this guy and this guy play, so it's this guy. Well, you know what I mean? That's not always the case, right? So that's just sometimes people like to try to throw that out there, but that doesn't mean it's true. But they just kind of try to throw that out there that since they saw the players play, they think that, that their opinion is a fact. You know what I mean?
I will say, though, subjective, though, it's not a fact. But if you do see someone live, like in person, and you see him play good, you have a lot of love for that player.
Well, definitely, of course. And then, but then that also opens up, opportunities to be biased.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Like, since I grew up in the 2010s, I'll always have bias, especially for the NFL, too. I think 2010s NFL is probably the best decade of talent in NFL history, and I'll always be biased towards the 2010s NFL because that's who I grew up with. I grew up with the 2010s NBA, so I'll always be biased. 2010s NBA, like, people, like, I was doing my top, 15, 20 power forwards list, and I got Kevin Love, Chris Bosh, Blake Griffin above Rasheed Wallace, and people who watched the 2000s will put Rasheed Wallace above them because they just love Rasheed Wallace. But as somebody who grew up in the 2010s and actually who's more biased for the 2010s, I will take Kevin Love and all them above Rasheed Wallace all time.
Actually, that might not be a bad take now that I'm thinking about it.
Rasheed Wallace was never all NBA. I try telling people this.
Yeah, I was about to say that might not be a terrible take.
He had a solid year.
Blake Griffin was at one point won 3 straight All-NBA second teams.
Oh, yeah. He was an MVP candidate.
Yeah. He's higher all time than Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, no, Blake Griffin's first year, he averaged 22 and 12. I mean,
so was Kevin Love.
He was one of the best bigs in the league instantly.
Rasheed Wallace is not dropping 26 and 13 like Kevin Love.
No.
But,
He was playing great
y'all got
defense though.
y'all got anything else to say, bro? We went over. I said this was going to be an hour stream, but then you guys came late, so I was like, oh snap, might as well just.
I was at work, man.
No, you all right, bro. I usually start at 5 on Mondays, but since I'm on spring break, I wanted to start earlier. But yeah, if y'all got anything else to say, I'm good.
I don't think so, man. I think
All
we
right.
covered it all.
I bet. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the 23rd episode of Some Casual Takes, man. Y'all know where I'm at Friday. I'm gonna be on at 12 or 1 o'clock on Friday. Don't hold me to that because I started like 40 minutes late today. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. Some Casual Takes episode 23. Peace.